Good morning. Welcome back to Dorset. Bit of a different one, this one. Kind of long overdue, really. So please indulge me. Bear with me. I might find this difficult. I might not. It might be easy, but I might find it difficult, and I might have to pause, rethink and reassess. But let's pick up where we left off. So, came back from the States, having ridden 1,500 miles, possibly one of the greatest adventures of my life, and flew back into the country on the 20th of July. And then, as you'll know, I did a bit of a sort of a summary talk about my walk and the way it left me feeling, and the wonderful feeling of euphoria and uplifting of spirits, and the fact that it made me feel better about myself, about the way the world looked, about what was possible, what I could do. Did everything I'd hoped to achieve in regards to my mental health. A fairly dramatic way to reset one's brain, but it worked. And I felt good, I felt great. My wife said to me it's probably the most relaxed she'd known me in our 25 years of marriage. And that was wonderful. So that was July. And I maintained that feeling. I felt good like that. Felt really good. Started doing more things, being more positive. Only little stuff, but you know, it helps. Going out and being positive in the way I walked the fields and rode my bike. And I woke up on August the 23rd. I think it was a bank holiday Monday. And I woke up lying on my right side, my left arm tucked under my right armpit, and woke up, thought, oh hello, a little bit of a lump there, must have pinched myself putting something on or reaching somewhere. I thought, doesn't feel right. Anyway, thought very little more of it, I suppose. I woke up the next day and thought, well, I'll just check that lump, and the lump had gone hard. I thought, not sure I'm supposed to have an extra lump underneath my armpit, so I won't bore you with the ins and outs of the getting to see a doctor and all the rest of it. It was a little traumatic the first time, but anyway, the following day I was with the GP by 11 in the morning, and he immediately said, that ain't right, that needs looking at. So that was, let's say I found it August 23rd. Then I had numerous tests and prods and pokes and biopsies and all kind of unpleasant things, but you know, all bearable. Nice grin on my face, life's just a challenge. And on September the 23rd I went to the local oncology unit and was told I got cancer. And a bit of a shock. One of those mental resets again, I suppose. God, it's beautiful out here, isn't it? I know you probably can't see it, but I'm walking down towards that hedge line, and just this side of it is a small river, the River Piddle. Actually, I lie, that's the River Cerne. The River Piddle is in the valley behind me. Yes, it really is called the River Piddle, and the Piddle Valley, and the one ahead of me is the Cerne Valley. And yes, the Piddle Valley has got Piddle Trentide and Puddle Town and Aft Puddle and Toll Puddle and Piddle Hinton, all the little villages along it. And the Cerne Valley has got Cerne Abbas and Nether Cerne and all of those little villages. There's frost up on the grass there. The ground underneath me is solid. But right in the corner, there's a couple of trees, and if you come slightly right of that, there's a big high bush just before it drops to the field, and there's a grey heron just stood there having a look, thinking about sticking his feet in a river to go for a swim. I expect he'll fly up as we get closer. Anyway, I don't want this to be a sob story. I'm not looking for sympathy. It's my life and I'll deal with it as I see fit. But September 23rd, you got cancer. I knew nothing much about cancer. I knew it wasn't good. It's a big word. Everyone's scared of the big word. But they said they could operate on it. I asked what my options were, and the surgeon that I saw in mid-October was a wonderful lady. Was very honest. You've got two options. We can cut it out, we can leave it in. We cut it out, we'll deal with it, we'll give you some drugs, we'll move forward. We leave it in, it'll kill you. Didn't take me long to think that one through. Oh, there goes the heron now. I don't know if you'll see him fly off. There we go. The magpie just crossing the skies ahead of us. It's a lovely morning. So October the 24th, all but 2 months later, I went under the knife at Poole Hospital. They cut out the lump and all of my lymph nodes on the right side, and I was back home that evening. Had a drain put in to drain off the fluid that my body would produce to fight infections or some such thing. Didn't really need to know why it was there. All I needed to know it was there. And unfortunately I had a bit of a traumatic time with that. 3 weeks of the bottle failing, the drain failing, the tubes getting blocked, all sorts of nastiness. But pushed through that. That was all good. So got that taken out about 3 weeks later, and cut across the field. Here's a bit of flooding. We have had some rain in the last few months here in the southern UK. It's been damp and still is a bit squelchy. So yeah, try not to get the sun in your eyes. Got the drain out. That all seemed good moving forward. Very stiff and achy and things like that. But went on fine for a couple of weeks, and then I decided that my body was feeling far too relaxed, so I'd better catch an infection in the wound site. That hospitalised me for a few days, just fighting that off with some intravenous antibiotics. And you can say what you like about the NHS, I think they're wonderful. My parents were nurses. I've spent my life in uniform. I joined the military when I was 17. I came out of the military and went into the police. Did all but 30 years there. And I have the greatest respect for people who wear uniform and put themselves in harm's way or look after others and help them. And God, they help me. I've had some wonderful help and assistance from people. I'm sorry if the picture's a bit poor. I'm trying not to blind you with the sun. And I'm sorry if this is a bit of a long rambling rant, but I thought I'd go for a walk and I'd take you with me and see some of the sites that I walk along every day. There's the Cerne. It's up at the moment, but it's still pretty clear. Dorset Chalk Stream, you can see the bottom reasonably well. It flows through here. A lot of winter detritus caught in the branches. This little tree over here is where we used to bring the kids when they were younger. It's a lovely old willow. Part of the trunk is fallen, crosses the river. Many of our dogs go charging across there and be in the wrong field all of a sudden. It's just quite amusing. So I found out a few things with the cancer. One is there's something called cancer related fatigue, and I kind of wish I'd done this filming with you on October 24th. Maybe it was the 23rd. My operation was the 24th. The day before I took the mountain bike out and I did 20 miles across the fields and hills and gravel tracks and muddy paths of the local area, because I figured it'd be the last time I rode the bike in a while, and I was right. I haven't been outside on a bike since, and it'll come. But the fatigue is a strange thing. I didn't know about it. I didn't know that cancer made you tired. I suppose like any illness makes you tired, your body's busy doing something else. When I spoke to the nurses and doctors, they had absolutely no doubt that I'd probably been fighting the cancer that I found for at least 6 months with increasing intensity to try and stop it taking hold of me. And that goes a long way to explain some of the exhaustion I felt in the States. Don't get me wrong, I cycled 50 up to 70 miles a day, but it took me all day. Part of that was great. I wanted it to take all day. I wanted to relax and enjoy the journey, and I don't regret that in any way. But I was shattered at the end of every day, every single day. And I couldn't quite work out why I was so tired. Well, simple answer is because I was fighting cancer, and that's a lot for your body to take on. And I'm going to draw a big positive from that, because if I can do it and be a bit grumbly and old man and moany, but get 1,500 miles down the track halfway and have a fantastic journey, then anyone can. Because it's hard enough on its own, but if you're going to fight cancer as well and you can still do it in your 60s, then take the plunge, have a go. Life is going to chuck you hurdles. It's how you tackle them, and that's kind of how I'm looking at my cancer. It's a challenge, like a challenge. I've got a fairly obsessive, addictive mind when it comes to challenges. I do the challenges with the Garmin system, the walk distances and the cycle distances and the hiking altitudes and things like that. But I've always seen them as a good excuse to get me outdoors, to do things. Doing all the Wainwrights, which are the 214 hills that Alfred Wainwright loved in the Lake District in the northwest of England. Took me 10 years to do those because it's a long journey from here, and in the end I got a bit too obsessed. It was all about going up there for the hills, but it took me to hills and places that I would never have seen. I've travelled, not all over the world, but I've travelled a fair bit in my life, and I've enjoyed going to places, but I've always wanted to challenge myself. And that's, as I say, how I'm dealing with my cancer. I'm dealing with it as a challenge. Mentally, it's quite a big challenge, really. It's a challenge for my family, my kids, bless them. My lovely wife has been so supportive, it makes me cry. And I tried to tell myself I was going to get through this without crying, because whilst it's important to cry and let go, it's not a pretty sight, is it? Old bloke crying on crying on a film, walking through the beautiful countryside. So we'll try and avoid that. But physically, it's been brutal on me. I spoke to Macmillan, which is a wonderful charity specifically for cancer in the UK, And I talked to them about why I was so tired. You know, they've cut it out now. They cut it out in October. Today, Happy New Year, is New Year's Day. It's mid-morning on January the 1st, 2026. And it's a year full of challenges. For me, challenges I didn't anticipate. Challenges which are far smaller in some ways and far greater in others than I expected to be dealing with this year. I can't ride my bike at the moment. I can't go out. I've been doing a lot of riding on my indoor trainer. But I'm doing maybe 15. I think the longest I've done is 25 miles. But my speed is, I'm averaging 14 miles an hour, which on a trainer is not fast. But I'm having to do it indoors because there have been occasions when I've ridden for half an hour and had to stop. I have no energy. My body just feels like someone's pulled the mains plug out and there's no juice, no go. And if I ride my bike out on the road in the cold and I'm sucking that cold air into my lungs and I run out of energy, I'm a flipping long way from home. That ain't gonna work. Get the missus out in the van and come and pick me up, and I don't want that. So I've restricted myself to indoor training. I'm trying, as everyone tells me, to be kind to myself. I'm not particularly good at being kind to myself, and that's quite difficult. So I'm having to restrict what I do. I try to walk every day, get out and get fresh air. And I kind of wanted to do this a while back and say, right, I'm going to go for a 3-mile walk today. And you'll all go, 3 miles? What's wrong with a bloke? And then explain that for me at the moment, a 3-mile walk is hard work. My body is struggling to motivate itself. And when I spoke to Macmillan, I said, look, you've cut it out. What's the problem? I haven't got cancer anymore. And they said, well, first you need to accept that you've always got cancer. Whether you're fighting it, whether you're in remission, where you're being treated, the threat is always there. And they've not found the primary melanoma of my type of cancer. And I don't know if that'll rear its head tomorrow or in 10 years' time. But it's likely to. That's okay. We'll deal with that when it comes along. Sorry about the car noise. Just a road the other side of the hedgerow there. But that's what it is. And I said, well, what's this tiredness about? And she said, oh, you had a fairly major operation. I said, well, no, I was in at 12 and I was home by 7. It can't be that big. She said, it's huge. What you've done to your body, what's been removed, your body adjusting, will take months to recover, not weeks. She was slightly horrified that I was even riding a bike, but I'm trying to be kind and accept that my body's been through the mill. It's a bit damaged. I don't know if you can hear the pheasants going off over there. There's an awful lot of pheasants around at the moment. And I'm working hard at being kind, being gentle to myself. And it's not easy. In fact, it's flipping hard at times. And I get very down. And at about 6 o'clock of an evening, I completely run out of energy. And there's the physical downside. You don't exercise, you sit around more. If I sit around more, I drink more coffee. If I drink more coffee, I eat more cake. It all conspires to pile up. So all the weight I lost in America has come back on. I don't know if you can see the sheepsies. A few sheepsies. Fairly grey sky. But that was quite nice. I knew that couple, so 5-minute chat with them. Now look, it's not a big hill. Christ, it's not Lava Mountain, is it? But that, for me, is now a challenge. That would have been, I mean, I've run this route many times. Used to do my 5k out round here. Once or twice a month I'd run 5k to prove to myself I could. I tended to run down this, to be honest, because running up it is blooming horrible. But now walking up it and talking is not that easy. It's nearly there. It's a bit of an upper, a bit of a brutal, and it's not like my legs are aching, it's not like my lungs are aching. It's just like my body says, hang on, why are you doing this to me? And those sort of challenges are difficult for me because I feel I should be fit enough to do this. And I suppose in some ways I probably am. I finished a little bike ride yesterday on the Turbo, and that was 250 miles for the month. And some people would say, blimmin' heck, 250 miles. But you all know, if you're a half decent cyclist, that 250 is not a lot. It's enough, but it's not a lot. Particularly going into winter and January, February is when you tend to do a lot of zone 2 short rides. Build your stamina up so that when the sun comes back in March and April, you can get out there feeling sprightly, rejuvenated and ready to start crashing through the miles. Well, not this year. I start some drugs in January the 9th. I've got my appointment, and I'm very lucky, apparently. I've got a particular variant of my cancer, which means I don't have to have chemotherapy or immunotherapy or radiotherapy, which apparently is good. I'll keep my hair, although to be fair it wouldn't bother me being bald, but I get to keep my barnet. So I just take pills. I take 2 in the morning and 3 in the evening every day for a year. And there's some side effects, apparently, which I may get. And the first 3 months are probably going to knock me back on my backside. But you know what? A year's worth of pills. And every morning I get out of bed and upright and conscious. And there's worse places to be, isn't there? So I count my blessings. I think I am lucky. I caught it early and I'm dealing with it. I haven't dealt with it, I'm dealing with it. And that's okay. We'll make this work. But I just wanted to bring you along for the journey for a little walk. I'm sorry again if it's been a bit of a dull drone on. But I'll be back. I'll be back on the bike. I've got some plans, some things, some little goals maybe. There's a local walk runs from our local outdoor pursuit shop that they've put together. It's a round, starts at their front door, finishes at their front door. Takes in some of the best parts of the local county. 26 miles, so it's a marathon distance, 26 and a bit. I've never walked 26 miles in a day, and I've set myself as that to be something I'd like to do this year. Don't know when, but I'd like to do that. There's a little bike packing adventure down in Cornwall. 4 or 5 hour drive down to Penzance, park up. 150 miles, not a lot of hills. Gonna go down the hills now, go down through the glade, and 150 miles. In America I've done it in 3 days. I'm going to try and take 4, maybe 5. Going to bike pack, but I'm going to try and be kind, and I'm going to have to take my time and do a little bit here and there, stop for regular coffees, stop for nice breaks. Good morning.
Morning.
Stop for breaks, look after myself, but I'm determined to be able to do that this year. I've got some wonderful friends through cycling who've supported me for the last couple of months, and one of them has said to me, I've never ridden round the Isle of Wight. It's only 60 miles, but at the moment 60 miles is a lot. But by the end of the summer I'm hoping the pair of us can go out to the Isle of Wight and do a 60-mile ride. Let my collar down a bit here, it's getting warm now, which is nice. So I think reasonable targets. things which it would be good to do. Good for my soul, good for my body, bit of recovery, but being gentle. Bit like in the States really, I suppose, on the day to Lima from Grant, when I could have gone the long way round, taken 2 days, camped in a canyon, and I knew that I didn't have it in me, and I took the shortcut along the road with Sean, and we had a great day. I mean, I was dog tired, but we paid our pennies and stayed in that motel in Lima, recharged and reset, and that's what I'm going to have to do a lot of this year. So I don't know if I've finished. I'd probably think of something as soon as I turn the camera off, but I'm going to leave you for a little bit and navigate this couple of gates coming up, navigate the sheep in the field, and then maybe I'll close this off when I get to the top of the hill, which will be where I did my last little summary piece. So yeah, I'll reopen it again in a minute and have a little chat. I need a bit of quiet time in my head. The sun is just trying to peep out over the town, which is, I don't know if you can see it. It's difficult to tell on the little screen of a GoPro how much you can see. A bit like when I was in the States, I couldn't tell if you could see all the rolling hills that went on forever in my eyes, but you probably just see about as far as the hedgerow, I don't know. But anyway, almost finished now. I've come back up the last hill. It was probably a good job I wasn't trying to talk to you, because that pretty much finished me off. But I thought I'd just walk along one last field and have a little stop and look at the countryside. I've kind of apologised a couple of times for this being a long rant, which I don't know why, because I've always said this is about me, and this is, I've always called it a sort of an old man's photo album with modern technology, you know, and I am planning to actually do some prints and a proper old one of these modern picture books with my Facebook post words and stuff like that, and a little photo album, because you don't watch video all the time. It is occasionally nice to look at it. I do look back at the pictures, but this for me has almost been I've been introduced to the world of journaling, which apparently is a modern way of saying keeping a diary, but it's about how you feel and where life's taking you. And this has almost been one of those video journals for me today. I love this county. I grew up here, probably 8 miles from where we're standing now. I moved away when I was 17. Didn't come back till, what, 25 years ago. And it was the best thing I ever did, coming back to Dorset. I love it here. The scenery is unique and different. It has no motorways, Dorset. It is one of the few counties with no motorways. So there's no great big roads, lots of country lanes, lots of wildlife. I've seen very little wildlife today, lots of bird life, but normally there's a lot of deer around and stuff, but it's a cold morning, so I expect they're in the warmer parts, in the woodlands and things. So I just sort of wanted to wrap up this his long diatribe today, just by saying, you know, got cancer, ain't gonna stop me. Certainly didn't stop me going across America. I've got plans to go back and do other trips abroad. I'm going to travel in the van a bit this year, with the wife and the dog. I didn't bring the dog along today because I can't control her and talk to a camera. It would have been chaos, but maybe next time. So if you followed me just for the Great Divide, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. If you followed me because you like some old man whiffling on about life's hardships, well, nothing's changed. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just on foot for a while. But I hope more than anything, as with the GDMBR, it's about tackling my mental health, and maybe in some small way, if it helps other people, helps them tackle their mental health, helps them look for help, look for charities. I did some work with and it worked. I pulled a field gun A charity called the Military versus Cancer pulled a old field gun down from John O'Groats in the north of Scotland down to Land's End at the end of Cornwall, which is a flipping long way if you're not from the UK and you're not familiar with it. And it takes a lot of people to tow 1.5 tons of field gun. And I went along and did my bit. I planned to do it before I found cancer. I had cancer, and when I found I had cancer, they said, you've got to come along and talk to the service personnel that are doing this and show them that life can go on. And I'm lucky with my cancer. There are people out there who have it far worse, and I only have sympathy and empathy for them and their families. But this is my journey, and it's my head I have to work with, and my body I've got to make get better. And I'll do my best. I'm not going to give up. I will see it as a challenge. And if that helps somebody else out there watching this to say, you know what, I can overcome things. I can overcome adversity and challenges. I can do things despite the adversity and the challenges, then that has to be a good thing. You know, it's beautiful up here. I'm stood in the heart of one of the most beautiful counties in my mind in England. I'm not in the best part of it. I'm just in a part with rolling fields and leaden skies and a peep of sunshine and a little bit of frost and maybe a Dutchman's patch of blue over there. But what's not to like? So why be down about cancer and life's hardships when actually there's so much more reason to celebrate and be glad about life? So if you're feeling crap, like I do on occasions, try and take some solace. Try and get outside, feel the wind on your cheeks. It's cold wind today, and think, you know what, it could be worse. And today I feel, I don't know, 5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 1 out of 10. But if I step outside, maybe I'll bring that number up a bit. Maybe I'll feel a little bit better. I hope so. And I hope that you find some solace, some comfort, some support, whatever you need. And if you want to stay, watch me struggle through my journey and move forward, then that would be great. But it's no obligation to. Not being funny, I don't know you. If you feel that this isn't for you, great. If it upsets you, I'm sorry. But it's my journey. But if it helps you, then fantastic. If it helps one person, that one person isn't you, then it's worth me chatting away endlessly to this camera. So thank you for your time. I'm going to go home, pick up the dog, come back out and do another little bit of walking with her, just to stretch her legs. And I'll leave you with a view of Dorset and the county town of Dorchester. Thanks for your time. Take care. Bye.